And if anything happens in the middle of this, just let us know.
Yeah, that'd
And
be
we
kind
and we're gonna do the pod on the road.
of the funny thing is I
Road.
the funny thing is I have do not disturb on, so she'll be running in here. It'll be fucking guns a blazing if it happens. So
Water leaking. All right. Well, we got a special edition here of the RDN roller show here. We got a I guess you could say Friday beers edition. And not just the Friday beers edition, but we got the big three back in action. So this is gonna be a great pod. I'm excited for this one, but we're gonna send it around and we're gonna send it around to one guy that we've been missing for a long time. Been on the IR. We're happy to have him back. You might know him as Dweezy. We know him as Dwyer. Um, Kev, how's it going? Welcome back onto the pod.
What's up, fellas? It's man, it's been a long time, but it's nice to be here. It's really good to see you guys and I guess be in this forum. Anth, you got a big life event on the horizon, and I'm super happy for you guys. It's exciting, it's wild, but um just know that nobody is going home from the hospital with you. It's just you two. That's a big that's a big crazy thing. But fellas, it's good to be here. It's been a long time coming, and I'm glad we could make this work under the circumstances. So thank you. Thanks for getting me on here.
Yeah, and then I think this is gonna be the last pod with Ant being a you know gonna be an official roller dad now. So Ant, how's it going? How's it going in the household in the East Coast?
it's late night start here, West Coast start. Love it. Just because things are kind of crazy right now. We're all cheesing because Dwyer's back, so it's like funny just watch. I'm watching your little square, and we're all smiling, all big. So it's funny. He's like Dwyer's kind of like Mark Stone, you know what I mean? He's been on the IR for a while, then he hopped back in right in time for the roller season. So it's perfect to have him back in here. Yeah, so this would be the last episode, and without my son actually being here, and then little Dominic is going to be in the mix here, and we'll have him on blades as soon as possible. So
We're gonna have two official roller dads on the pod now, and guess I'm gonna have to be the next guy up.
pressure,
Dominic Merrigan.
yeah,
That's a strong name.
yeah, and Kimmy wants to do Anthony as the middle name, so we'll have a little damn, a
Dude,
little,
Oh,
yeah.
that's a
So,
strong Italian name, right? Like,
oh, well, I mean, my last name's Irish, but yeah, it's a very Dominic is a Italian name, but yeah, so Dwyer's been helping me out, texting me, checking in on me, making sure I'm okay mentally, and also giving me advice, which is great. Even right before we hopped in, Marley was giving some advice as well. So good to have other guys, like tons of guys at the rink are all having kids too. There's like six guys at my rink having kids, and most of them are boys too. So we have the 2024 is looking strong so far. And yeah, we got a huge roller season ahead. So I'm just happy we can get this one in before it gets crazy in my life. So
Townsy's about to have another kid too. So
I
2024 is gonna
know.
be
It's wild.
the world of the roller. But Kev,
Rob, how you doing?
dude, I'm doing good. I'm doing great. I'm pumped that you're back on the pod, man. So Kev, how have you been? Haven't been on the pod in a while. I know we've been playing roller though together and everything, but how's everything in the Dwyer household? How's everything in the Dwyer hockey life?
We're good, man. Marley got a new job, I think, back in like February, and it's just a really good fit for her. It's like 10 minutes away from where we're at, and paying her more, so she's doing really good. Pierre's been taking pretty good care of me. I know it's like a slower season, but still we're still busy. Like there's still so much ice hockey around here. I haven't put the wheels on since we lost in the Pi Hop finals. I've actually been playing quite a bit of ice.
Ooh.
So staying active, obviously staying playing. Um, so that's been fun. Ice is I'm not gonna lie, it's a little easier on the body. It's a little easier on the knees and the hips. Like you have a little give when you slide and everything like that. So ice has been fun, and it's a whole nother world. Like it's funny that, and I'm not trying to toot the horn or anything. It's funny that there's still so many people like in the ice community in this state that like are like, "Whoa, you play roller hockey?" It's like Yeah, I've been playing hockey a really long time. You can call it roller hockey. I've played a bit of ice in my life too, but like, yeah, I've been playing goalie a really long time. They're just like, oh man, you're a pretty good goalie. It's like, thanks. I hope that comes through. So been playing some ice, but otherwise, other than work and a little bit of hockey, like it's I'll tell you right now, Ant, you'll appreciate this. We spent the last hour and 15 minutes trying to get our son to take a shit on the potty, and it's not easy. It's not easy, man. He's 2.5, and like, dude, tonight, like, mom's like, my mom had him last night and he spent the night, and she's like, he didn't poop, and I'm like, okay, we'll give him some prune juice, we're gonna make this kid poop tonight. And he would not, dude. He stunk too. He's gassing all over the place, and we just couldn't he couldn't sit and just get it out. So
There's
the joys of parenthood, man. Every day is a bit of a new adventure, and it's so much fun. And sometimes, like, you gotta feel like you're banging your head against the wall, but it's great. It's great.
yeah,
That's awesome.
I'm sure there's tons of roller dads that listen to this that can probably, been through what you've been through. So it's
Oh man, I can only imagine.
And it's
So
crazy to
yeah, it's
go ahead, Kev.
no. I was just saying, I can only imagine. I know I can. It's potty training he'll take a piss on the potty like easy peasy, man. But like getting them comfortable to like get something that big out of them is not easy. so that's what we're going through.
There we go. There we go. Well, yeah, I was gonna say it's kind of crazy. You look at it. A lot of the guests that we've had with, Crafty, Mooney, Eton, they all have kids now too. So it's full roller dad effect there right now. So I would safe to say that roller's in good hands, hopefully for the next generation with with everybody having kids and everything. So all right, well let's get into it. You ready to get into some roller talk, boys, or what? Let's do it.
Absolutely.
All righty. Well, first off, Kev, you're going to are you going to Palma Pro?
I will be at Palma Pro. I will
There
be
we
at
go.
State Wars with the black and yellow once again.
Snipers.
Pretty pumped about that. I'm going to be kicking with Cam Johnson. Cam Johnson's a
Oh,
big pickup. He just had
there we
a
go.
shutty the other night in the Eastern Conference Finals of the
Dude,
ECHL.
he's a stud in the
He's a
ECHL.
stud, man.
There we
He's
go.
a big time stud, and then our teammate Hawkins is playing in the Western Conference Finals. So yeah, we got a lot of boys from St. Louis, and it's in St. Louis, so it's supposed to be a pretty big year, man. Pretty big
Yeah.
summer, and what? It's the 20th
Yeah, 20th
anniversary.
anniversry for State Wars.
20th anniversary. So yeah, man, it's pretty big year.
Yeah, I was gonna say I got to bend Tim's ear. Hey Tim, if you're listening, I'll be willing to be out there for 2 weeks again if you need the help for stuff.
There
So,
you go.
but no, that's awesome. That's awesome to hear and everything. So, boys, what do you guys want to start off with? Yeah, some European stuff, or you guys want to start off with some North American stuff?
Go
man.
European. I gotta. I'm
Yeah,
gonna be kind of hanging on by the
yeah.
threads, but yeah, go European.
Let's do it. So we're gonna do the Spain final. So can you guys see the screen?
Yes, sir.
Perfect. All right. Well, we're gonna do the Spain finals, Liga Elite. I don't think it's a surprise of who's in the finals, to be honest with you. And this is taking place tomorrow, so this will be released today. You are listening to it before, hopefully it takes place. But I believe it's a best of one game, or do you know if it's a best of three, Anth?
I think it's the best of one as well. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, so you got Molina versus CPLV, two of the powerhouses, in the league. You got Jimmy Teed for CPLV, stud, and then you got Mooney and Chucky Slick, really the two that have just been like tearing it up in that league the last couple of years. So, and I know we pay attention to this league in particular a lot. It's hard to say who's like a favorite, but what do you think a team has to do to like win in this game?
So, I mean, Molina is just like such a powerhouse, right? So I think like for them, it would have to be them not coming there a little too confident. You know what I mean? Still realize like there's a game to be played there, because sometimes that can happen. And you have CPLV, who's a bunch of workhorses. Like if you watch their games, they just like, and I think this is like pretty common with the Spanish league in general. They don't stop. Like it's just constant, 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 constant. So I think if Molina just sticks to their game, they have like such a deep roster too. And when we talked with Chucky and Mooney, like they have such a good vibe on their team too. They were telling us stories and things like that. So it sounds like they have a good setup. So they are like the king right over there. So just not getting too cocky, making sure they're coming in, still playing their hardest, and making sure that CPLV doesn't get any momentum. Because once they do, that's when they start rolling and start putting in the goals and make it hard on teams to even, sniff coming back, let alone staging a comeback.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. I think it's kind of like a chess match, to be honest. I think both teams kind of just can't make a mistake because these games are one goal games and they're particularly not high scoring games, but when they play each other, they're mostly 2 to 3 games, score games or 3-4. But I think it's like a chess match. Both these teams really just kind of have to play a perfect game, and whoever makes that one mistake first, probably going to lose that game, to be honest.
Yeah, it's awesome because the atmosphere is always great there too, because both these towns are like very into their teams. So it's going to be an intense like kind of atmosphere. So it's always funny to see how teams handle that, like that wave of momentum's in the game, right? So like you're saying, whoever makes the first mistake, if they can handle that momentum, they could stay within that game and not kind of have it get out of hand. So
Yeah.
and
Is
he's been
is
killing
that
it.
team is that team that Chucky and that Mooney are on? Is that the one that's like it's on an island and they have to like fly everywhere and stuff?
Yes, sir. Yeah.
Okay,
Like the
that
They,
dream team. Like playing on that team would be
wild.
so fun.
I think AMAC was playing on that team a couple years ago, and you're like a rock star, dude. Like you're a celebrity, like doing that.
Actor.
Like it's unreal. It's so
Dude,
sick. So good. And this is for the league, right? This
yep.
is not like
This is the
okay
Yeah, this
for
is
the
the
league.
finals. Yep. This is
Okay,
for the finals.
where's it being played at?
I believe this is in Molina. So this is going to be at so we would see as the yellow team that is Molina. I believe it's at their home rink. I want to say because they were the number 1 seed. They won the season series against CPLV and then also beat them in the Kings Cup. CPLV beat them in the first game of the first game of the season, and then I think they won the last 2
And so that's happening
tomorrow.
here Saturday.
Saturday.
Saturday. Yep.
It's already Saturday over there, man.
Yeah, over
It's
there.
Europe
Yeah,
time.
right.
Europe time is
Yeah.
something else, man.
Yeah.
8 o'clock. Oh, prime
Yes.
time.
So I think
Yeah.
around like 1 or 2 around our time, I want to say, or
Yeah.
like 12 or 1.
And I
Sick
love,
unis too.
Yeah.
yeah, the yellow is awesome with that. And like, I love that all these European leagues, like if you're a big follower of roller, all these games are on Saturday afternoon. So if like you're on the other side of things, where you're a little younger and you're having a rough morning, wake up, you can throw some roller on while you're recovering. And then for me, like I throw it on when I'm doing stuff around the house, just have it on in the background, watch, whether it's the French league, Spanish league, whatever it may be. So perfect timing for us, like, on this weekend where people usually don't have too much to do until tomorrow. People start having their barbecues, throw some roller on and watch a good matchup here.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, let's move on to the France League. Um, I'm gonna share my screen here again. All right, you guys can see that?
Dessert.
Perfect. All righty. So it is Rattel versus Anglet, and then we got Verzone versus sorry, it's not on my screen, so I just went blank. Versus Villeneuve. And I think the Villeneuve, or actually the Retail and Angling game went to a shootout,
Yeah.
and that Villeneuve and Verzone game got out of hand. What was the score? 15-4?
I think it went up being 13-6.
13-6.
But it was like weird. It was a weird game. It was like very odd. Like you're saying, it got out of hand fast, like out of nowhere, where Villeneuve was like goal, 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 and just had like 4 shifts where they pumped in like 4 or 5 and just took the game.
Yeah. And these games are best of 3 because they played their first set of games last week. Ratel's up in the series 1-0, and then you got Villanova up 1-0 in the series as well too. And first we'll talk about the Ratel team, or just the Ratel matchup. Obviously, they've been the most dominant team like for the last 10 years in that league, winning pretty much the France Cup, winning the league. They dominate. And having now Nathan Sigmund on that team, big guy for the Snipers. He's up and down that court so easy, and just having his knowledge, his skill playing with those other Czech players, that team is like very hard to play against. Like you can't like how are you supposed to get against that defense? So I think that's going to be a hard, very hard for Anglet, but you never know.
So the first game in that match was at home for Ang, right?
I believe it was at Rittel. I believe that was home
Okay.
Rittel. Yeah.
But I know that both the rinks are really small. So it's like hard to get a lot of stuff going because I remember watching Anglet last year, even both rinks are really small, as most European rinks are. So that kept the game pretty close. But like you said it, Rattel's got four guys in the top 10 in scoring in their league. Like, I mean, they're so deep and they could just bury at any moment. And it was an awesome game to watch. And then right after that's when the Villeneuve game started. And that game, we'll talk about it. It's like
Yeah.
football
But
game, football score.
yeah, absolutely. So yeah, I think Rittel will take it tomorrow just because they're just beating that team in a 3-game series going to be pretty hard, especially who they have on that team too. Just a couple, I mean, like 3 or 4 world championship players, that have won worlds and just have won very high hockey. So nothing against the England team. I think they definitely, can be the underdog and win it, but that Rittel team's a different monster. All right, let's get into the next one. And lead it off with this one. Let's talk about it.
The Bears-Zone Villeneuve game. So we mentioned it a few times already. Complete weird blowout game. I talked to Jairek, who we've had on a couple times after the game. They're pissed off, obviously, right? So they're going to be coming out a lot tighter. And in that series, I think when we talked to Frankie and Joey, they said that they had lost to Villeneuve early in the year, but they weren't like there yet, I believe. And then they've beaten them ever since. So the fact that Villeneuve came out and just absolutely pumped them, right, has got to be pissing off Arizona. And we know Arizona's got a ton of scoring on their side as well with Joey, Frankie, Mr. Mohawk himself,
David
David
Jansko.
Johnsko. They have Pedersen. They have a deep team as well. So I assume that's going to be a lot tighter of a game. I expect Arizona to tie it up and send it to a game 3. Where in the other series, I agree with you. Rattel's probably going to close it out. But you never know, right? At the end of the day.
Yeah, the one thing with Villanova, they got Daniel Brabeck, great goalie, great goaltender.
Mhm.
And I think that wins that goaltending that battle, obviously, with the score the way it was. He's a very solid goaltender and just comes to play. He's a gamer. And then they've got very experienced players too, with Carl Gablett still playing there, Martin Fiala playing there, and then Robbie Balgeron and Austin Koss. Like they've played there for the last 2 years. They have chemistry. So that team is like when it does, come time to play, like they do have that, I would say, playoff experience over Verzone. Verzone's such a new team with young players where probably a more skilled team, but your backs are against the wall now, so you gotta bring it.
Yeah. I think you hit the nail on the head. I mean, the score is obviously skewed, but like you look at Fiala, has been
Yeah, I
tearing
mean,
playoffs. Like they can score too, right? They have Brabeck and they got the scoring. So
yeah,
I obviously Verzone had to use both goalies in that game. So the fact that even Brabeck giving up 6 is a lot for him, I feel like in those games, right? So it's gonna
yeah,
be an interesting one tomorrow.
absolutely. Yeah, that and we've seen what Joey DiMartino can do. He can take over games, so there's no surprise, if when they do take it to game 3, which would make for a great, roller series. So, all right, well, let's move on to I think we can get into the Palma Pro qualifier first. You guys want to?
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay, first before we get into the Palma Pro qualifier, I want to talk about what you guys think of the new State Wars jerseys. So I think these are the Virginia ones they just released. I just
Yep.
think like the new theme they have, I like it. I like the colors. They're pretty sick. What jerseys have I guess like stuck out to you? I know you're not on socials, Dwyer, but
Do you have any others? Is this the only one?
that's the only one I saved.
I saw Colorado's. What color were Colorado's again?
Well, we weren't black and
They were
gold.
kind of they were black and gold.
No, let me check. Hold on. Let me check. I'll let you know. Uh,
Somebody showed me Colorado's, and I was
so
looking.
we got a
Let
couple different ones. The best ones I think were North Carolina. North Carolina were pretty sick. Those ones were the
actually
The,
Colorado ones are sick. I kind of like the Colorado ones. It has
oh, they're the flag. They're the Colorado flag
yeah,
colors, right?
I was just gonna say,
yeah.
yeah,
Oh, never mind. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
They
Hold
have like
on.
this cool like little ombre thing going on like through the stars where it like colors. But I kind of like
It does give me shades of like
Oh, it.
throwback of when Projoy was doing their jerseys, and Projoy would rock like kind of the stars coming up from like the belly or the back, and like that's pretty sick. I like it's like that perfect point of like newer but like kind of throwbacky, and like I'll be looking forward to seeing some unis out at State Wars. It is always interesting to see like what colors they're picking each year to make it unique, you know?
Yeah. No, yeah, absolutely. All
I,
right, hold on. I'm gonna pull up some real quick. So just give me 1 second. I just
I
got some
like
up.
Colorado ones the best so
Do
far,
you?
but
All right, give me
yeah,
1 second. Here we go. I'm gonna pull
don't
them up
sleep
so
on
people can. Here we go. Where we at? All right. Share. All right, there's the Colorado ones. You're right, they are sick, and I'm sure they're gonna be. You get two jerseys, so the white will probably look really sick. I'm assuming they'll probably be the white with the gold stars. So
Yeah, I
yeah,
kind of like them because they're the only one that has like that little faded color.
yeah.
Out of that I've looked at, like there are some other ones like the Columbus ones
Here,
kind of say like the Ohio State kind of colors. So there are some good ones in there.
all right. Check these out. These ones and the North Carolina ones are my favorite.
I
Yeah,
like that. I like
Yeah,
that a
that
lot.
Arizona one's
Marv.
nasty.
that
Yeah,
red
Marv.
that Marv Simmons.
Gotta
But
boy Marv.
pull up the
Yeah,
North
Those
Carolina
are
one.
sick.
yeah, those are
That
sick.
those give me team mission Arizona vibes. Like
Ooh.
those are
Yeah,
executed very, very well. I
they're
like
good.
the look of those a
Yeah,
Okay, hold
lot.
on, hold on. I'm gonna pull up a couple other ones real quick. Just bear with me, guys. We're gonna look at these. Hold on, give me 1 second though.
like
So
flying.
then I'll just say while you're doing that, as a
Yeah,
whole, this is like cumulatively, I like this because obviously it looks like they're kind of honing into like some flag colors, like for each
Yeah,
state, and like that's cool. That's a cool thing to play off of and to like carry throughout. Because some years they'll do like like Colorado would have like CSU, and then like other states would have kind of more like I guess like well known things. Not saying
yeah,
CSU isn't well known, but like if as a whole across the board they're diving into like some state flag colors like that's sick.
yeah,
That makes it a bit more universal and fluid.
yeah. No, I
yeah.
feel you. All right. So, I'm gonna show you guys North Carolina's. I think North Carolina's is the sickest by far. These things are absolutely disgusting. They're
Ooh,
gross. The baby blue on there, these look so gross with the North
Tar
Carolina.
Heel State,
Just
yeah.
Yeah, I
gross,
like
right? So if I was a
Oh
kid,
yeah.
I'm trading for a North Carolina one if I'm out there. I'm for sure trading for one. And then these ones do go hard. So I got to give a shout out to our boys up north. These go hard. I always hated playing against this team in State Wars, but they're nasty.
Mish.
yeah, the Alberta
Oh,
ones.
Alberta,
Alberta's
yeah,
okay.
Alberta. Those are nasty.
Yeah, they're
Got
What's up,
Laner.
Lane?
So
There
that's
you
what I do
go.
love too. State Wars, Timmy and Greg, great job with the jerseys once again. But I just like making it more personal to roller. That's one thing that's really cool too, just making it more, relatable to the community so people know. And just giving a shout out, like I'm sure it's just cool to see. So for the younger kids that are able to see that, like, yeah, dude, like one day, pretty sick to see your name on the back of the jersey for
No, that's
State Wars.
yeah.
So
That's
all
great.
they're
That
actually
jersey looks awesome.
now that Kev kind of mentioned it, like tying it back to each state, like the California one's sick. It's got the old Kings colors. I'm like looking at every one now, and they
yeah.
all have a resemblance like back to their state, which is kind of sick.
Yeah. No, that's cool. That's awesome. That'll be really that'll have some shine on the 20-year anniversary of their event, and it's going to St. Louis. So what can we I mean, I don't know how many people like watch the pod now or anything. What's the Missouri jersey look like? Because I know that flag's kind of
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Give me
there's gonna be a lot of St. Louis so,
Yep, yep, yep. You're
so
not wrong.
we
You're
might
not
as well
wrong.
take a look at it while we're all here, right?
Yep. Give me 1 second. Missouri. All right. Georgia's are pretty fire. Missouri did I release?
Great Britons are nice.
Iowa's are nasty too. Iowa's look nasty.
They have like the Hawkeyes colors.
Oh,
Yeah.
see, nice. I like that.
See,
Yeah,
hold on. I wonder, did they ants? Do you know what color they are so I can look for it?
that's what I was looking for. Let me see
Got
here.
Columbia's. Oh, hold, nope, that's Fox's. Here we go.
Is
I got
this
it. So
yeah,
this
go
one's
ahead.
cool. So what they did with this one, and the theme this year is RHI. So it was kind of like RHI theme for the teams that did have a hockey team.
Oh
The team,
wow.
yeah. So with this one,
So this is a Vipers?
yeah, this is a Vipers theme. Yeah,
Ooh.
and it's actually pretty goated. So one thing, obviously they don't have the division anymore, but the men's elite, we used to wear these, so like
Yeah.
represented. That would be obviously the Palma Pro division is a little different. You wear, you're playing for a pro team, so you're not representing a state, but it would be sick to see the pro players wearing these jerseys, like in an all-star game or something, and they're representing that state. Timmy, idea.
Yeah.
All
Bring
right.
back the All-Star game.
I know, right? All right. Oh, here we
Bring
go.
back the All-Star game. That was sick.
Dude, the All-Star game was so sick to watch.
Yeah, I'm looking at the Missouri ones. They're kind of nasty
All right,
too.
here we go. Here's the Missouri ones. St.
Yeah,
Louis Vipers.
yeah.
Yeah, I was thinking about like, all right, how do I get my residency to
Dude,
get one of those?
that looks
They're
great,
gross, aren't they?
man.
Hopefully the kids still jersey swap. I remember that
A
being such
little
a thing.
a little St. Louis Blast vibes too. St. Louis Tour
Abs
Blast.
Absolutely. Yeah. And I like,
Yeah, man.
and one thing that's
Those are
pretty,
great.
they're nasty and they're done
What? Sorry.
very well at the bottom, just the sponsors on the back and the front. Like they're just cleanly
I
just
will I
put. So
I will say I think the Colorado jersey was probably the only one I saw, and until I saw these other ones, it was like kind of like And now that this is all like coming together, like these look great. These look
Yeah.
very good.
yeah, they're nasty. They're
So
That's a
nasty.
big
deep dive
that's
into
big it's big for them. You know, there's
Yeah.
a big anniversary years are big. Like I the year in Toronto in 2013 when I was
Mhm.
working for Darren, fuck, 10, 11 years ago. That was a big year. Like anniversary years for tournaments are big years, so they want to do things big. I remember with Darren, um, and working with Jason Monroe. Jason had to stay up like all hours of the night, going through like old VHS and converting it to make like the sick video they played during the intermission
Oh, yeah.
of the pro final. And it was like an 8 or 10 minute video, and it had highlights and clips like from back in Vancouver. And like, dude, anniversary years are big years. And so like
Was
that
that
one I
when the Walk
remember
Strong was in there too?
it very well could have been.
I feel like it was.
I know that you guys kind of I remember when you guys went to Dallas in 2011 and Walk like was on the jumbotron at the Dr. Pepper Center and like
Yeah.
was saying like yo like I'm coming back, and it was a real, and then George Brown saying like a sick Star Spangled Banner and everybody was teary
Go.
eyed. And so I don't know if Walk Strong was in that Narch video, but I remember George Brown won a like triple overtime game in that video.
That when he jumped off
That
the bench in San Jose. Jesus.
and ran all the way down to the corner. So
That's one of the
dude,
that's one of the funniest videos.
anniversary anniversary years are big years. So I would imagine that those guys are probably like working right now, like putting stuff together to make this event again. Like
especially in St.
these
Louis too.
yeah, these
Yeah.
guys work around the clock, man. They're people. They're people. You know, they're people persons, and
They
they
grew
they
up in
do
the
everything they can.
Yeah, they grew up in the sport. They know. They know how to put on events. So
Is it-
with that being said, this is something we've always talked about on the pod. We used to do was it Hot Take Tuesdays, and we've always said that there should be some type of way to get into the Palma Pro. What's the best way, and we've always said that. And I think having this is the best way and the most fair way too. And it kind of brings you back to. I think I'm not sure to what tournament it was, but I believe Narch was a lot like this back in the day, where when you won and you would stay, your division, you would move up and play in the next division, and you would
Yep.
stay for the next one. That's
Right.
what Timmy and Greg would tell me always. So that's kind of like that, a little old school style. So right now, we're going to be talking about the Palma Pro qualifier. And pull up the team list here so everybody can take a look. With the Palma Pro qualifier play in, is it the top two teams move on, correct?
Yeah. So two
Top,
pools.
Yes.
yep.
Yeah. Two pools, top one in each pool move on.
Cool. So top two, they move on. They'll be playing in the Palma Pro. So they'll play 3 games in one day. And then the next day, they start playing in the Palma Pro Invitational Tournament. The rest of the remainder teams will play in a different pool tournament, kind of like a tier 2 division, for a lower cash prize. So it's not like you're wasting your time going out there or anything. You're still getting play. You're still playing with your teams. And I do believe, I could be wrong, but you still can play senior double A as well too, even if you're playing in that. So
And Timmy, I remember, had a very interesting take on it, that like these teams that round out the divisions. I mean, like they've got, they'll be like, maybe a little more tired, but like they got 3 games of getting it all together,
yeah,
before the tournament starts, and like that's huge. That's a big thing that you don't want to like overlook at all with looking at these teams that might end up coming in. Like, you get a little time under your belt with guys that maybe you're not familiar with. Just 3 games is a lot of time to kind of gel and get a little chemistry and be off the rink together, and that's big, man. That is a big thing. That
It's
was a
almost
good
like
point he pointed out.
Yeah, it's
yeah,
almost like an extra 2 days because you figure you're going to get there a day early, right? So that helps with like the bonding aspect of it. Then you're going to play your round robin, where like normally, Kev, like we've been through this, you get like a practice, and usually at that practice, guys are still flying in, still traveling. So you have half kick team, and then you're splitting a rank with someone else, which is even great that you get a practice, right? Like the fact that you get a practice at State Wars is huge. But you know how it is, right? It's tough unless you have one of the later slots, guys traveling and stuff. So to come to say, like, you have that 3 games to get ready for it, especially in the best, pro division and there is, that's huge, right? Like you could work out your kinks, and even if you just get by into round robin, you go right into Palmer Pro round robin. You're like, all right, here's what we got to work on. Here's what we learned from that, the qualifier, and it's going to help you in the long run. Now you might be a
You
little tired. That's the contrary to it, but you can kind of usually
I
battle.
mean, tired, you can recover. You go to bed early. You don't have any sodas that night. You hydrate hard. The biggest thing is like just nobody getting hurt. You don't want to
yeah.
see somebody like getting hurt in
Good.
that qualifier, and then that affects the team. So all that, injuries off. NHL injuries off mode for the qualifier.
There you go. All right. Well, let me name the
Yeah.
teams. So let's name the teams and we'll go over them and everything. So we got champion Wheelers, Lebeda Blood and Feathers, Ringster Propel, Black Ice 2.0, Skittles, Team Sweden, Team Chemistry, and Car Shield. So I guess I'll just Car Shield Blast. I mean, so I think it's going to be a very like there's not one team other than the Skittles. I think the Skittles stick out pretty above the rest than others just because they've played in more of these pro tournaments. They're more in the pro scene and everything. Didn't have a too hot of a Palma Pro last year, but they're a strong team that are always playing consistent pro tournaments. So, other than the Skittles, there's no one team that's kind of like, yeah, they're definitely going to make it. When you guys look at these teams, Anth, you can go first. Any teams jump out to you?
So probably the two. So it's tough because you have 3 kind of East Coast teams on here, and then you have Carshall Blast, who's like basically like a lot of the Lindenwood kids, right? That kind of come together. The younger Lindenwood or the younger St. Louis kids. Champion Wheeler's a complete new team. Black Ice 2.0 would be my team that's like going to be sneaky good because
Okay.
we play against them all the time over here, and their junior team's pretty dominant. Like we know that. But I will be interested to see who they pick up because usually when they play in like the winter national tournament, you're carrying 8 guys, 9 guys tops. So I'd be interested to see who fills out the rest of that like that Black Ice 2.0 roster if they do grab a couple vets to kind of help them along because they're nasty in juniors, right? They are pretty much dominant in juniors, especially out here. So it'd be interesting to see who they grab. So they stick out. And then obviously, like you said, Skittles.
Did you
There's
see them picking up the Eisenhowers?
who?
Black Ice 2.0.
Black Ice. Yeah, well, that's exactly what I'm talking about. So
Okay.
because they're usually guys who play with like rink rat, right?
Yeah.
So that's huge for them because Sam's a workhorse and Joel. I mean, Joel kept that rink rat team in every game last year, and and he's a competitor too. He battles in the net. He gets pissed off when he gets scored on. So like he's a guy that's going to give you a chance to win every game. So I would say they stand out the most. Chemistry is another good young team too, just like kind of the roadrunner side of things. So yeah, that'd be kind of my take on it. Like, I just want to see who else they grab because they definitely need to fill out maybe, 3 or 4 more guys to fill out the rest of their roster.
Yeah, absolutely. Especially like you're saying, vets. When you're going to play in the Palma Pro Invitational, it's a different, like, it's going to be a whole different level of what you just played. Physicality, speed, everything. Better goalies, everything. It's going to be just a whole other level. So you're right. These teams do it. You can count on the young guns, but you're going to need those savvy vets that are definitely going to need to come in there and definitely help and lead the team. Kev, when you look at this, what do you think of these teams? Anyone in particular stand out to you?
Hey, this might be a hot take, but Skits getting a couple games, and if they get in, that to me almost makes them like they might make playoffs this year in like the big dance. Uh, that's they're young. That's a lot of games. Their experience, like you said, they're pissed off. They had a bad showing last year. We've all seen Charlie steal a game or two.
Highlight reel.
They them getting a couple games, and if they get in like that, that's dangerous. So my hot take on that is that they are one of the teams out, and they get a playoff spot because they're just wheeling and dealing. Um, my other take on it is the boys in blue and yellow. They're flying from Europe. They didn't have a great showing last year either, but like you know, they love hockey, and I think this is almost like a perfect setup for them to have a couple games for the Swedish group. I mean, they're wearing their country's colors. They get to come over here, and you get a couple games under your belt. Get a little used to the rink, get a little used to the speed. Differences here and there. I think they end up coming out with it. I think it's Skits and Sweden in the final. Blood and Feathers has been here 2 years in a row, and what they haven't done a whole lot. The Car Shield Blast, and Black Ice are the ones that I think like are going to compete for those 2 spots between Sweden and Skittles. I don't know a ton about chemistry. I don't know a ton about champion wheelers and rinks or Propel. Bringing the name Propel back is really funny because I haven't seen Propel water in like years.
I still like Propel.
Dude,
It's still around.
Yeah, I mean, at least here, well, I mean, we're all, whatever in Philly it is, but yeah, I love Propel. Great Propel is the best.
And you touched on it. I mean, like, is Jay coaching Black Ice 2.0?
That's a good question. I would assume so, because guys like Sammy Phillips are from this area, kind of like they're young, right? All those young kids on that team. First they said this to me, that their jerseys are going to be the best jerseys in the tournament. So going off like their little logo here, probably like a baby blue, little darker shade and white. So they said their jerseys are the best jerseys in the tournament. But a couple of the kids play.
I mean, Black Ice thinks they have the best jerseys every tournament.
Oh yeah,
they got good unis, but
yeah, Campbell does a great job on them, and you know what? They're working on them like 2 years out.
Yeah. So, but Kev, one thing I wanted to jump on when you said Team Sweden, if you remember last year in Palma, they got better every game. First game blowout, second game a smaller blowout, third game they almost beat the Roadrunners, if you remember.
Yeah,
and they almost beat us.
And that would have changed a lot of things.
Oh yeah, And we played them with North Park, and we played them on like 10 o'clock at night, like second to last game of the night, and they played us close. I think we wound up beating them by 2. So they got better every game. And you got to figure they're going to probably, because I remember at that time, there was another tournament in Europe going on at the same time. So they didn't even have their best squad, right? So to your point, they're going to bring some other guys. They're not going to come back and be like, oh, we're just running it back, right?
Yeah. Yeah,
So
they've got to play in this qualifier. Like they're pissed off. They get a couple extra guys. They get some games under their belt. Like, yeah, young guns, vets, but like these guys are again like to me like they're wearing their country's colors. Like they're coming here. They're spending. I don't know if they're spending money out of their pocket, but they're
double the
spending their
amount
time. They're spending their money to come out here and compete. Like they're. I don't think they're going to lay an egg. I think they are going to compete very, very hard, and they're going to execute. And I
Sounds
think
like
it's going to
Kev's
be.
like put your money on the blue and yellow
I
to
think
get
I
in.
think Skits in Sweden is the
Okay.
qualifier ship, and I think it's actually going to be like really like those games are going to be fun. Like, is that the start of the stream? Do we get to?
It has to be. It has to be. I'm sure we'll talk to Tim, but it has to be. It has.
We'll talk.
Yeah, we'll talk to
I hope
Timmy.
so too. Like that's
Yeah.
that gives everybody else a little like, ooh, a little juice. Like,
Yeah.
let's go.
Yeah.
Especially like think about the teams who are
If
already.
not, we'll stream it. We'll figure a way and we'll stream it for this.
Like,
there you go.
Think about the teams like coming in too to play, right? They're going to be watching those games. They're going to be dialed.
Oh yeah.
Who's getting in, sort of thing. And Tim said it.
Who every team now, if I understood Timmy correctly, every team is going to be playing one of those teams.
Exactly.
Yeah. So I mean, that's a big deal, man.
Yeah,
that's a big deal.
So
like, the skits are definitely going to add too, right? You got to figure they're probably going to add a piece or two to help out because, like Rob had said, they just had a rough showing last year. But I'm playing with them like they're highly skilled, super highly skilled, and they're going to be dangerous in that tournament. But if you look at it, Kev, what you said, they're the 2 oldest teams like in that kind of group, so it makes sense that they're going to be the ones that should be the favorites.
Yeah. And well, so, and one thing I want to say, talking about some, 2 other teams is Carshield Blast and Champion Whalers. I think those are 2 other teams that are kind of going to be like sneaky, like with the black ice. But with Carshield Blast, if it is the Lindenwood guys, and I'm not sure like the whole roster is, but I'd imagine, maybe Marky Hager's on that team. Just kind of, he's from St. Louis, I would assume, if he's not. But that's an experienced team where they are a little older, where they do have experience playing in these big games too, with Lindenwood and the national championship games and stuff. So I think that's huge, and they played very well too. I think last year they played in the Palma Pro on the Palma Pro Invitational, correct? Wasn't it, or was that Tours?
We played against them actually in Tours.
Yeah, so. Tours, and they have some scores, so I think that's a sneaky team to watch out. You have that team in Black Ice play. That you don't know which way it's going to go because of maybe the maturity and just a bigger team Carshield Blast could be. And then Champion Whalers. That's about, I know some Canadians are on that team. They got some ice players. Tyler Sheetland, he's played with the Epic Society team. He can score, put the puck in the back of the net. So I think those are 2 teams too you got to kind of watch out that are going to be sneaky good but very physical. That Whalers team does have a couple Canadians, and those Canadians, they love getting physical. So I just think looking around at the other teams now, there's 5 teams that Carshield Blast, Whalers, Sweden, Skittles, and that Black Ice team that can any of those can make it.
Yeah, my buddy Matt Wiesner, who lives in California, played State Wars or Winter Wars West, sorry. And he played against that the Wheelers team. And he said they got guys that are, obviously ice guys, but we know how that goes. Like they can always bury, right? Yeah. And they're always in the right position. So even if they're not the best skaters, they find a way to kind of maneuver their way around the rink, and they're hard as hell to play against, especially the Canadians. I forget who we were talking about. I think it was with Darren Roberts.
It is Darren. He's chirping.
He used to hate play the Canadians.
Yeah.
And they're a pain in the ass, like at the end of the day. So yeah, I mean, like Kev said, I think this is just going to be like, just a battle between everybody because anybody can really win any game in this. This is close, like as competition you can get.
Is this taking place? And I don't recall. Is this taking place like on Wednesday or Thursday
Thursday, I'm
Thursday,
or
pretty sure.
25th.
Thursday.
all Thursday?
All Thursday. It's a straight all three games. You'll play three
That is
games
a
Thursday.
gauntlet.
That
Yeah,
is.
it
That
is.
How
is.
long are the games?
Palmer
That's
Is there
Pro.
a Palma Pro game?
Yeah, they would have to
36
be.
minutes?
Yeah,
18s. That's
18.
that's a lot. Yeah, it's a lot of
Yeah.
hockey. One
That's
day.
a
But
gauntlet, dude. Pedialyte, BioSteel, Liquid IV,
we need to find
sponsor
a
us.
sponsor for some
Get the
recovery.
fuck out. Yeah, dude.
Yeah,
Oh
some
my
liquid
god.
IV for sure.
I'm
Yeah,
gonna
so but
Holy
and you
cow.
know what? Carry a big roster, and it really comes down to, you know, stamina as well too. If your boys have been skating all summer, it is the last tournament of the year. You do got two other pro tournaments to enter and just different tournaments to play where you can get your wheels on. I think it's like if it's a time to take it serious, you're not trying to dial in, then like you got
find
it for that tournament. Like you have a an Ironman Pro tournament coming up to play in.
if
You
you
do.
if you think
So
about it too, like if you can go through that round robin, say you succeed, you really got to have like two more really good games too. And that momentum may help you in those two games where you're going to see the tiredness fall off is that day two. And if you make it to the playoffs, day three. So if you're like the skits, like Kev said with his hot take, like they're going to make playoffs in the main event in the Palmer Pro, that's where like you wonder how it's going to affect them when they get to that playoff day because we know that playoff day is a grind too. Games start early and you
yep.
wind up playing two in a day, whatever it is, as far as you go. So that's where it's really going to like really settle in because
Three
yeah,
three in a day is
during
a
the
young
day,
man's game, man. Three 18 minutes. I lived it last year on Sunday. Three
listen,
18s in a day is a gauntlet, man.
we played you guys and we had 8 guys. Like I was
That
35. I
was
can't do
wild.
this. I was like, my body's done, dude. So
And you
At
know,
least your groin wasn't tissue paper like the year before, right?
remember that? How bad that bruise was?
Yeah, yeah.
I
You
did.
were
I
hurting,
did.
but you were wheeling.
I did run into the boards in that Sweden game. I lost like my balance and I smoked the boards. I thought I like broke my back. It was rough, dude. These games are a battle in general.
yeah.
So it's
Um, and you know, one thing to think about too. Some of these pro teams carry coaches. Some of them don't. Some of them think they're too good for a coach. Some of them, whatever. I think this Palma Pro qualifier will really, if you have a coach and you're going to be coach smart, that's where you're going to save your energy. Someone like if Miro is coaching that Black Ice team, this is a great coach that really can slow down the game where they're not going to waste all that energy, and he knows that, and he's thinking about that. He's thinking ahead of steps that you don't even know, and that's something where can really come in hand if you have a coach that is thinking like that. And if Miro is coaching that Black Ice team, that's a very just that's huge for them to save that energy because he is most likely thinking about that.
good point.
All right. Well, last thing on the list here, we're going to talk about the Wish Cup. We got the Wish Cup coming up. The All-Star game they do, it's pretty cool. You got some pro players around that play in the pro series, and then a lot of the influencers, really. It's kind of really influencer heavy based. So I'm just really going to go over the rosters real quick and talk about them. First up, we got Team Nasher. So on Team Nasher, we got, of course, Nasher, Rick Acorn, Eton Chavira, Jeremy Rupik, Lucas, what is this? Georgagas? Is it like Georges or
Your guess is as good as mine, brother.
Aiden?
Lucas Gorgeous. I don't know. Just call
Yeah,
him
Aiden
Gorgeous.
Dale, Sterling Bowman, Eddie Matsumiya, and Coach Chippy. And you got the goalies, Nick the goalie and Bonesy. This team's pretty heavy, like influencer based. I would pretty much, say you got, obviously Nasher that plays. He is playing roller a lot. I know Rick or Acorns from Colorado where he is playing roller when ice isn't going. But then you got Eton and Eddie Matsushimi that really other play.
Matsushima.
That's Ishima. He's a big farm
I
tough.
I have to say it because I played with him in Detroit 2 years ago.
He's a
Great
nail gun.
guy. He's a
Yeah,
good
he's
player
a
too.
nail gun.
Matsushima. He's a stud, man. He's a stallion.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he's a good
no.
man. He plays in the SBA, like played a little bit in the coast, I believe. He's a good player. He's fucking nails, dude. That kid.
I will be Rob. You touched on it earlier. I don't do the social media game anymore. Frank, my brother, has been sending me Coach Chippy videos.
They're fun.
And they've been pretty comical. Like all a lot of Leafs focus,
Yep.
Maple
Austin
Leafs, and
Matthews. Yeah. Boppy.
pretty funny, pretty funny. So I'm
He's like, I got
interested
the
to
jet
see how.
ready. I got the jet ready. We're going to play golf. We're going to play a round of 18.
Fellas, I
Oh,
sat.
that
We were
was great
supposed
when
to
they were all on the
lose.
green.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did JT just blow up by a guy with speed?
But
So
no,
I'll be interested to see him wheeling out there. That's good. That's
yeah.
funny.
But yeah, then you got, it's I wouldn't say more of a roller based, like pure roller based team, more of the influencer type based team, which should all of them have skill, so should make for a pretty cool all-star game to
Dude,
watch.
Eton too, low key. I mean, like influencer slash like one
Yeah.
of the better
He's the
like
OG
yeah,
influencer. He's like
yeah,
the original
absolutely.
influencer. He's like before Nasher was Nasher. He was that.
He was
Like,
like
Probably before Nasher.
jumping on the
How
wall.
old
Remember
is
that?
Nasher?
yeah. I don't know how old Nasher is. Probably like our age. I don't know. Who knows? He looks our age. All right. Next one up, we got Team Swaggy P. Um, this team's more, I would say they do got a little more roller guys. Um, but you got Swaggy P, John Chavo, Brody True. I kind of just started watching a little bit of the Brody True stuff. I think he plays in like the Null or
Yeah,
the Null 3.
he just retired from the Null.
Yeah, we
But
got a retired hockey player.
well, he
And
got
then we
called up.
got Nick,
Yeah,
Nick from Hockey Collective. Nick, sorry, Ian. You ruined me.
That was
Yo,
whatever.
good.
Hockey Collective.
Yeah,
Nick is a cool guy from Hockey Collective. Talked to them quite a bit, but Hockey Collective is a massive page. Like I think over like 70,000 followers or 100,000 followers. Um, cool guy. Actually just started this thing called Working in Hockey. So if you guys are interested in jobs, workinginhockey.com, they send out newsletter of all different jobs in hockey every month. Check it out. No free ads. You got
That's cool.
yeah, it's
Wow.
really
Okay.
sick.
Yeah. No free ads. That's cool though. That's
I'll
really
send it.
neat.
Yeah, I'll send it to you. But workinginhockey.com, it's a really cool thing that he just started and he was telling me about where they post honestly, daily jobs, newsletters of just new jobs in the hockey industry from anything from pure hockey stuff to the NHL head coaching position
no,
of the Toronto Maple Leafs. So they got it all. Yeah, Colby Collier going, Austin Alexander, Alexia Morita, and Bobby Ryan,
B
baby.
Steve
Rye.
Home
He
Care.
right. And then the goalies, you got more of a roller based goalies with Stefano Cantilli, more an influencer, started playing roller. He's on that champion Willers team. And then you got Nicky Weindock. He's a roller goalie as well, too. So I think Team Swaggy P is a little more. I would put my money on Team Swaggy P, I think.
Yeah, I agree because like Swaggy Pete has played some roller like in some tournaments. And obviously like this is an all-star event at the end of the day. So
Yeah.
there's gonna be stick tricks and it's gonna be all-star defense, right? Guys like skating around, it's gonna be like an event at the end of the day. But
Yeah. It's for the
I
kids.
think Team Swaggy P, like definitely if you're looking at it like this is, got the deeper roster, I'd probably agree with you on that.
Yeah. I
Have
mean,
you have you seen the videos of Swaggy P just cruising around a pure hockey, just
Yeah.
yeah, I've
hitting the
seen him
green
cruising around
hitting the green biscuit on the tile and just
Kev's in the background, like
not on
yeah,
my
has
store.
he shown up to Littleton yet and just been like, all right, he's
No.
like, time to time to do a video.
No, I'll tell you what, I think that Carter guy got diced too. I could be wrong, but
Who's
um you know who that is.
I do know who.
So I haven't heard that guy's name in a while, but I agree. I think Team Swaggy P. I mean, like you can look at it a couple ways, but you go John, and John Shabo and Swaggy P. Like
I
those are pretty heavy names. And
I
then you
think
throw B Rye in there, and it's like, Jesus,
Yeah,
it's a good team.
is Alexia Marita? Is he
Alexei,
Alexia? An ex NHL player. Kind of sounds like an ex NHL player. How's the name?
Rob took the A off Matsushima's name and put it on Lexi's name, and then took the I and put on Matsushima's name. Oh
Boys,
my!
I'm not good with names. All
I,
right, but yeah,
I have a
I
question for you guys. Let's just say, like, if you took like half all the influencers on each team, right, and they combined for like a state worst or not state worst team, like a narc.
no, they would not compete
No,
at
no, I'm saying
Pama Pro.
what
No.
level do you think they would play? Do you think
A,
they'd be
A,
A?
yeah, double A's no. A and then probably move down to like A or B. It's just a lot of like they've never played together either, and all these teams they're playing against have played together. You got to think.
An idea
Probably going to
though.
be dangling too. They're probably going to be doing some tricks and try to get some content. So I don't, I just don't know. But I think they would compete for sure in senior A. Like if they all played on the same team, like Nasher can play, like he can play. Swaggy P, he can play, and the goalie Stefano Cantilli, he can play. I don't know the retired hockey player Brody True, but I'm sure like the other guys, like could play.
To defend him, I think he had injury issues in the NA. He played in the EHL, which is below the NA, but he got called up, whatever. So just give him a little bit there. But he plays in Danbury, Connecticut. So like I know guys who know him and stuff. So I just want to help him out a little bit. I wasn't trying to chirp him, but I was.
Yeah, no. He's an influencer too, though.
Yeah.
Like he makes videos during the game or something like that. So I get it, but I think they could compete for sure. Like if you're talking about Narch, gold maybe, but yeah, I would think maybe gold, Narch gold maybe,
Yeah.
platinum no, gold maybe yeah.
Well,
I think like certain players could for sure though. Like Swaggy P played pro.
yeah. Played with him.
Yeah, Ulinis.
You
Um.
you did.
I did.
You did.
Oh yeah,
Forgot
was
about
that for
that.
Palma?
Yeah.
Yeah.
For everybody. I'm
I
just saying.
forgot. Ant has played for every team on the Palma Pro qualifier list and the invitational list.
I'm like Dominic Moore of the NHL. I've
Dude,
just like traded 9,000 times. It's everybody's like, yo, we need a guy last minute. Will he play? Yeah, he's got no leg.
yeah, we need a elite prospect for Ant to see his like
Kimmy's like, yo, Dominic's coming, and you're like, I haven't played for this team yet, though.
baby, the champion Willers just came out. I
Can I
haven't
bring
played
him?
with them.
Can I bring him?
Yeah. I mean, you got shut down for this Wish Cup team. You did ask
That
Colby.
was last year. That was
No,
last
this year, Colby, you did ask Colby. Colby just is like, yeah, maybe. Like,
I
Ant.
think that
Oh, you're
represent
not
our,
in the echelon?
well, I
No,
think that
Ant.
represent
You're not in
RDN.
the top tier echelon of influencer yet?
Guess not. I don't know, man. I got a couple.
Also, the rosters were probably already like set. So, and his but yeah,
Games.
I will give Colby a quick just shout out. You had mentioned before we were talking, he's reached out to a couple different people about sales and all that. And the other last week, our area manager, they realigned some stuff. Our area manager is the area manager of the Hendersonville store, the Nashville Pure Hockey. And somebody had called Barney because Colby was trying to figure something out. And I was like, "Is that Colby Collier you're talking about?" He's like, "Yeah." And I was like, "Yeah, he's actually been grinding pretty hard for quite a few years at getting like that Nashville like inline scene to a good point." And so I guess that store in Hendersonville is pretty roller heavy because I think what was explained was, and I could be so wrong in Nashville, people. I'm sorry if I butcher this. I think Hendersonville is on the northern side of the city, and all of the ice hockey takes place on the southern side of the city. So they have a very heavy inline demographic since that rink got put in a couple of years ago. Um, so Colby doing this event is like it's big, man. And over the couple of years, I've only worked at Pure Hockey for it'll be 3 years in November. There have been people from Nashville who like know What's Colby's son's name? Asher.
yeah, Asher, yeah.
Yeah, there's people who've played with Asher and who know Colby, and just the fact that my area manager's talking about like let Colby know blah blah blah. Like he's a prominent guy, man. He gets stuff done in that region, and he works his ass off to put this event together. There's kids there's a kid who played for me a couple of years ago when I was coaching Stallions. His name's Jacob Harrison. He has started just putting teams together. Like Jacob hasn't even dealt with parents or like a Jeff Ingram or a Yoder or anything like that. He's like, hey, guys, to his 13, 14, 15-year-old friends, you guys want to go to the Wish Cup? Like, I'll put it all together. Like, you guys want to figure this out? Just tell your parents. And parents come to me and tell me how incredible this kid is at already being like a GM and like a team manager. Like, it's insane. The kid's got to be 15 now, maybe 14.
Yeah.
Dude, like, it's nuts.
Yeah, I think they actually got a tournament going on this weekend called Jam.
Yeah, dude. So like he shout out Jacob Harrison, but also, you know, a little shout out to Colby too for in his region just trying to, you know, again, grow the sport and do what he can. So it's cool, man. It's cool to see where rollers kind of the direction it's going in with certain people. It's awesome.
Yeah, I mean, no, absolutely.
Go ahead, man. He's got over 200 games being played, you know, like
yeah,
that's not easy to put on an event. I mean, he's close to 300 games, I think it is, but like that's not easy to put on an event like that.
It's all not from just Nashville too. You know, obviously people see that as a cool destination, right, and you have to kind of execute on that opportunity you're given for people coming from out of state. And that's a big deal, man. That's people are spending money and they want it to be not only like a pretty good event, but like things around, like you want to be able to go do something in Nashville, and Nashville's a great place to be able to do that, especially if you're an adult. So no, yeah, it's cool, man. It's awesome.
Yeah, no, should be a great time, fun all-star game, you know, for a great cause for the kids as well too. Last year looked pretty awesome, and they're also doing like a skills competition too, so a little something different too, which will be pretty cool. I think that's in the middle of the halftime of that, so which will be sick. So, all right, boys, anything else in the roller world you guys wanna bring up and talk about?
Well, not necessarily the roller world, but it's been a while since we've all chatted. What who are we going for? What's with the Stanley Cup with the 4 teams remaining? What do you guys got? What do you think?
So I think that game's in overtime right now, Ant.
Or yeah, I've been checking, and to be honest, I know there's probably a decent amount of Rangers fans. I hope the Rangers get the wheels beaten off them in this series. Shesterkin's a stud, don't get me wrong, but like you're gonna get upset at Svechnikov like tapping you.
Yeah.
Like when you're stopping everything, it's like, dude, you're a goalie. Like just skate away. And he always tries to like hack people. And it's like you're a stud, dude. Nobody's discrediting that. People respect you. Like, dude, like you're just showing them that like you can get a little.
Is he Russian?
Around.
Yeah, for sure. That's your reason why.
Well, you got Bob on the other side, right? But Bob's like the older Shesterkin,
and right? Bob's put in
time. Older Russian.
He's the man.
A lot of time, and he's the man. He's tapping his boys after every time, every play. And you know, I'm imagining that I'd imagine both of them do it, but I'd imagine Bob like takes so much accountability if like a goal goes in, like he's like, I should have had that, boys, and like to me, Bob's put in his time, and Paul Maurice, the Panthers coach, like I love that guy. That guy needs a cup. He needs to put his name on the Stanley Cup.
Dude, you know who
go ahead. Sorry.
No, keep going.
I was gonna say in the West, like I again could be very differing views. I know, like it seems like Colorado fans are very split between who they'd want to win.
Fuck both those teams, dude. I want the Panthers to win, dude. Fuck both those teams. I'm all for the fucking Kachuk rat. I'm all for Kachuk. I love Kachuk. Hands down, one of my favorite players in the NHL to watch. Not even a contest.
I hate to say it. As a whole, I think it would be good for hockey if a Canadian team won the cup.
If McDavid won the cup, yeah, I would love
if McDavid got to go take the cup, probably from Bill Daly, not Bettman.
Yeah.
If McDavid actually no, Bettman would make sure he was the one.
Yeah,
I'm sorry,
there ain't
that's
no way
way
he
too
would give
much.
back up to him. Yeah,
Yeah. So if McDavid got to go lift the cup, I think that. And dude, like Leon, like come on, Leon, Ant's doppelganger Hyman,
Yeah.
like Hyman,
like
you two look alike. Every
dude,
time I
you're like
see
the
him, I'm
fifth
like,
person to
Jesus
tell me that.
Christ. Yeah,
You're the
every time, I just think like Ant's just putting in 50 goals in the fucking league, you know.
the big
I
schnoz.
think it'd be pretty cool if Edmonton won.
Yeah, I agree.
So
That town would
that's where
burn
I'm
down.
going.
That town would burn
Jamie
down.
Jamie Benn should have been suspended after he hit Taves in that series. That was dirty. That was
Dude,
dirty. Ottinger's young. Ottinger's got time. Heiskanen, he's got time. I like Heiskanen a lot. Wyatt Johnston's got time. Like, dude,
Duchesne's a
get
loser. Sagan's a loser. Every single player on that team are freaking losers, dude.
Rob, tell them your playoff, your little playoff routine you were doing for the Avs games.
Oh, dude, like not watching him at
Yeah,
places.
not watching them. Yeah,
Yeah, so okay, I was going through it. So listen to this. So the Avs,
yeah, I was dying when I heard this.
so I was just going through it, and I do this with Duke games too. So I just whenever I watch and UFC fights, so I can't watch. I'm a big McGregor fan. Whenever McGregor fights, I can't watch it with anybody. He just loses every time I am with people, so I have to be alone. So with the Avs game, they were not doing too hot when I was watching the game. So I realized it. I would go to different places and they would still lose. And I was like, what if I don't watch the game? What would happen? They won. So then I stopped watching it and they started coming back in the series for Dallas. They won that one game or whatever. So I was like, oh, perfect. It's me. That was the problem. Cool. So I end up not watching it for the last game, game 6. And it's going to overtime. And I was about to go to overtime. And I'm like, I got to. I got to. So I texted Siege and Joy and I was like, yo, what do you guys think? Like, I told them my problem. They're like, yo, they control their own destiny. Like, it's not you. And I'm like, and I was like, oh, yeah, you're right. I'm good. So I turn it on and they fucking lose.
I think I
So,
had text though.
yeah, I'm freaking out. But yeah, so I couldn't watch
York
the.
won. Yeah,
Who won?
York. Good draft. Good.
oh god damn it.
Damn it. But yeah, so I
Who
just couldn't watch the
scored?
games.
Yeah, good draw scored.
Good
So
draw.
Oh,
yeah,
he got leveled this game. And Kulikov probably should have got a 5-minute major on that hit. That
uh,
was kind of surprising he did. But
it was not Wemberg. He smoked them.
Edmonton and New York would be a pretty
oh,
cool game.
Goudreau and Wenberg, I get mixed up. Yeah, he destroyed him. Who'd you say? Edmonton and who?
The Rangers would be good for hockey too. I think that'd be pretty good just for the overall game. Very two popular teams. Which would be just probably I don't know.
I'm with Kev. Like I want Florida because like I've always liked Florida. I like Pavel Bure
Chuck
coming up.
just raising
That's
that
why.
cup would be just everything.
Like
I'd
yeah,
love to see. There's a couple guys on Florida, dude. Like
Yeah.
they got a couple guys.
Ooh,
Like, do
but
you
they
remember when Sam Bennett got drafted and like it came out years later that his shoulder was fucked up and he couldn't
right.
do pull-ups at the
Didn't
combine,
didn't do a
and that's
single
why
pull up.
like he got drafted lower. It was
Yeah.
like, are you, dude? It
Oh,
comes out that his shoulder's mangled. Like that guy's a dude. And the little fucking cheap shot he threw Sean last
Well,
night.
I don't know. Was that I mean, he had an
Yeah, I think that was
accurate
on
punch.
purpose.
That's a
he
pretty
was like,
accurate punch.
I think it was on purpose.
I
That's
think
a
Florida. Hold on, I think Florida just got boned in this game because there
why?
was a flip play through the neutral zone. Looks like it was hit down with a high stick. They didn't call it, and then they scored right after. They might have
Shit.
just
Call
got
Make
boned.
Toronto,
sure is
boys.
it.
Call
They didn't
Toronto.
do it, so I guess everyone's off the ice. So that's game. But
All right, boys.
Oh,
Well, thank you for getting the big three back together. We just got some pure roller talk. We'll be back soon. The next time you hear us, we're gonna have another roller dad, an official roller dad on the pod. So, Anth, good luck. I know hopefully in the next couple of days we'll hear some good news,
yeah.
and hopefully
Go to bed.
Yeah, go to
Just
bed.
just get your sleep now, because for the next at least 2 months, you ain't getting shit.
I
Go to
feel
bed.
bad. She just wants this baby out. She's like, I'm over this at this point.
Yeah, for sure. And
It's
guess what she's gonna want when the baby's out?
The
Yeah. And guess what you're gonna be doing?
staying awake.
yeah.
Yeah, you're gonna
I've
be.
been practicing.
You'll get like an hour here and there, but like when that baby wakes up,
I,
like you're gonna have to go feed him, and
was-
he's
I
gonna be
was
a stud, dude. Don't get me wrong, but
I was
just
told
get your sleep now.
just nap when he naps. That was the best advice I got. When he naps, you need to like take your little naps, and that was pretty smart, like common sense, but smart thing I heard. So
It is. There's also like shit you got to do around the house, man. That you can't do when he's awake. So
Sometimes you just don't have time to
it's a
sleep, is what
balance.
he's saying.
dude, I got paint
You
everything. I had to paint stuff today. Like, yeah, I get it. I'm already in
you
it.
and you and Kimmy, you're a great team. You guys will figure it out. But I'm pumped for you, man. That's exciting. You're gonna have so much fun, and you're gonna cry, and you're not gonna realize like how like crazy it is to see something that like you created come into the world. Like it's insane. It's
This is
insane,
wild.
man. So I can't wait for you to have that moment, and I can't wait to see the pictures of Dominic.
Yeah, dude, it's gonna be. That's what everyone says too. As soon as he comes out, it's like your whole world just like changed.
Absolutely, like that moment. Apparently, there's some I don't know. I don't know how true it is, but everybody says that any kid, boy or girl, that's born looks immediately like their dad because it is a reflection of what like the like male is brought into like the world. I've heard it on like in a song. I've heard it in a couple other instances, but like it's a little
In a
crazy. And
song?
I wouldn't say yeah. Talking Heads, great song. I can't remember what song it's called, but Talking Heads. Uh, I didn't immediately get that with Jackson, but like a day or two after, it was like, whoa, that's wild. And then he
Yeah,
looked like way more of Marley's family. And now, 2.5 years later, like
damn.
this motherfucker looks a lot like a Dwyer, and it's like you have
It's
this little.
full Dwyer.
He's got
I
such a
know it's,
shit eating grin sometimes, man. But he's the best. He's
know
wild.
it's
He go ahead.
I know it's crazy. You just said 2.5 years. I remember when you told me you were pregnant.
Yeah, you guys were
I was
going
driving up
somewhere.
the
I think
mountain.
we FaceTimed you.
Yeah, I was going to the mountains, like driving with Kimmy, and you started it. You started the trend. Now, Rob, 2.5 years, you're going to be the next one that pops out one. So,
I don't think it's me 2.5 years.
oh shit, Rob.
I gotta
Rob,
catch up, boys. Give me a year and a half. Give me a year.
damn,
That
that's
baby's getting baptized as soon as he comes out, eh?
Catholic going back to Mexico, baby.
You're going down south, man. It's gonna be
gonna be
Yeah.
from
fun.
Chihuahua.
Yeah, he's whatever it is, they're gonna be bilingual and they're gonna have an attitude and they're not gonna listen to anything I say and they're just gonna be back talking in Spanish. So I'm just like, all right, Alex, take care of
I'd
them.
almost rather get back talked in another language than a language I've taught my son.
Yeah, that's true.
It actually might be better.
No, no,
All
I do
right,
not
boys.
want that.
Well, it was awesome to have the big three back. We'll be back. Give us a little break, a little IR break, and we'll back to the regular programming, boys. So thank you guys again.